Hello everybody, this is Gautam. Today I will discuss about an interesting topic called water footprint. So, just a second. Yeah. So without any further ado, let's start. So as the topic is related with water, I want to show you this slide to get the idea of how water is related with our day-to-day life. Whatever we eat, whatever we wear, and whatever we use takes water to make. And you are definitely thinking how, right? In this presentation, I will try my best to provide clear idea on this topic. So stay with me. So in the table of contents, I will start with definition part, definitely to give you a glimpse about that topic. Then in the example, you will get a clear idea about how water footprint works. Furthermore, classification, calculation, and assessment of water footprint will be described. Then one of the most important topic is impact of consumption and production choice on natural resource will be explained, which is related to the other parts. So starting with definition, created in 2002 by Arjun Hoekstra, the water footprint measures the amount of water we use in our daily life as well as the amount of water we use to produce each of the goods and services we use, such as producing food and clothes, and indicates the pressure we exert on our freshwater resources. So it can be measured for a single process, such as growing rice, for the fuel we put in our car, or for an entire multinational company. The water footprint can also tell us how much water is being consumed by a particular country or globally in a specific river basin or from an aquifer. To understand water footprint properly, I will provide an example of a cow. Now, to grow a cow, it needs food and water. As you can see, cow needs grains and roughages for eating. Every grain and roughage item such as wheat, corn, pasture, they all need water to grow, which means they have their own water footprint. It should be noted that it is the indirect use of water, or it is called virtual water. Now, for raising a cow, water is also directly required, such as drinking and servicing. To sum it up, you can see to raise a 200 kg cow, it requires 3.1 million liter of water, and that is huge. Moreover, it is possible to find out water footprint of a human being, a fruit, I mean anything you want. So, traditionally, water use has been approached from the production side by quantifying the following three columns of water use. Water withdrawals in the industrial, agricultural, and domestic sector. It should be noted that nearly over 70% of the water supply worldwide is used in the agricultural sector. So moving on to the classification, there are three water footprints: green, blue, and gray. Let's discuss about them one by one. So green water footprint is water from precipitation that you have seen in the YouTube video that is stored in the root zone of the soil and evaporated, transpired, or incorporated by plants. It is particularly relevant for agricultural, horticultural, and forestry products. Blue water footprint is water that has been sourced from surface or groundwater resources and is either evaporated, incorporated into a product, or taken from one body of water and returned to another, or returned at a different time. Irrigated agriculture, industry, and domestic water use can each have a blue water footprint. And the last is grey water footprint. It refers to the amount of water required to adjust pollutants and maintain the water quality. So, how to calculate water footprint of a product or process? We have to sum up all the green, blue, and gray water footprint to get the total water footprint. Take this chart for an example. The total water footprint of this chart is 2073 liter by combining all the green, blue, and gray water footprint. Right now, I will discuss on water footprint assessment, which is a four-phase process that quantifies and maps green, blue, and gray water footprints, assesses the sustainability, efficiency, and equability of water use, and identifies which strategic actions should be prioritized in order to make a footprint sustainable. So starting with the first one, goals and scope. A water footprint assessment begins with the goals and scope of the water footprint study, and it can be undertaken for diverse purposes. For example, it can be undertaken to support a specific business on achieving sustainable water management within their direct operations and supply chain, support governments and regulatory agencies on national or regional sustainable water allocations and management, defined benchmarks for water consumption and water pollution for a specific sector of activity or production of a specific product, raise awareness on water sustainability issues related to water use. The goal and scope indicate which data will be used, how each subsequent step of the assessment will be approached, and the level of detail required to achieve the desired result. Once the goal and scope of the water footprint assessment have been defined, the data are collected to calculate the footprint of the relevant processes for the study. These may come from global databases such as water state or collected locally. The third phase is sustainability assessment. So water footprint assessment is used to assess whether water use is environmentally sustainable, resource efficient, and equitably allocated. In this sustainability assessment step, we are assessing whether water use is balancing the needs of people and nature. If our limited water resources are being used to the greatest benefits, and how fairly we are sharing the water we use. The last one is response formulation. Using the information gained in the accounting and sustainability assessment steps of water footprint assessment, response strategies that reduce the water footprint and improve its sustainability can be prioritized for implementation. Response strategies can range from investing in better metering to enable improved water management, to change in practice or an investment in technology that will reduce the water footprint at any step along the value chain. It may also be important to take action collectively with others to improve the long-term sustainability of water use at the catchment or river basin level. Moving on to facts and figures. So as I already mentioned, water footprint can be of anything. Here I am showing annual water footprint of individual consumers of few countries to give you an idea. The water footprint of an individual refers to the sum of their direct and indirect freshwater use. The direct use is the water used at home, while the indirect water use relates to the total volume of fresh water that is used to produce the goods and services consumed. So here you can see USA on top, that the consumers of this country use water annually more than other countries like China and India. Now, moving forward to the next slide to understand the fact more precisely in daily basis. So we can see in terms of per person daily water uses, UAE on top, followed by USA measured in gallon. In the graph, we can see the global average is 1000 gallons per person per day, which is considerably high, and to mitigate that, proper awareness should be spread among people to save water. In that global water footprint, there are two terms, internal and external water footprint. The internal water footprint is the amount of water used from domestic water resource. The external water footprint is the amount of water is used in other countries to produce goods and services imported and consumed by the inhabitants of the country. The external part of a nation's water footprint varies strongly from country to country. Some African nations such as Sudan, Nigeria have hardly any external water footprint simply because they have little import. Some European countries, on the other hand, example Italy, Germany, and the UK, have external water footprint that constitute 50 to 80% of their total water footprint. The agricultural products that on average contribute most to the internal and external water footprints of nations are meat, soybean, wheat, cocoa, rice, and cotton. So here I have a question for you guys, and it is very important for our future. I am giving you 30 seconds to write the answer in the chat box, or you can open your microphone and answer. So the question is, how many burgers do you eat in 1 month? And that's a very simple question, and I hope most of you will answer that in 30 seconds. So I will talk about some serious facts in this slide. As you already know how water footprint works, from that picture you can realize that how our food habit impacts the natural resource. So at the time of eating, we have to choose wisely because the time is not far when we will be running out of fresh water, and that time maybe we won't have any much options to choose food. So whenever we eat 1 kg of beef in 1 month, we are actually consuming 15,500 liters of water. And the same happening in the case of burger. So those who are eating 2 or 3 burgers in 1 month, just multiply 2 into 2,400 liters of water, and you will see how much water you consume in per month. And thanks to them who are actually eating no burgers at all. And the same goes for chocolate or any other food we eat. Now, this slide is also important, and in this slide, we will get the idea of how our wearing choices also severe effects on water. In this modern era, we ought to change our clothes, shoes rapidly, which put impacts on production sector, thus increases water footprint. Therefore, we need to consider our behavior at the time of purchasing these items and should be careful on buying unnecessary things. So, how can we know our personal water footprint? For that, you can visit this link and find out. And there is also an advanced option where you can put your food consumption, domestic water use and outdoors and get proper data. So, in the slide, the picture is not clear. So, I'm requesting you please go to the link and find out yourself. So, how to reduce water footprint? As you already know, about 97% of our water footprint is invisible. So our daily habit can put more impact on indirect water use than direct water. When we get ready, we should look at our closet for sustainably manufactured products. We should gardening at evening to reduce water loss. Fix any leaky water taps in house or office. Instead of meat, which has high water footprint, we can put vegetables or any other food those have low water footprint and keep in our meal. Thus, we can decrease the water footprint of ourselves. Please look into internet to find out which food has how much footprint, and based on that you can make your food habit. So that is immense infinite importance of the question why we need to save water. So as it is a vital element in our body, it is essential for our survival. So there is nothing more to discuss. It helps in boosting energy, reducing weight in our body, aiding in digestion, hydrating skin, and many more. After all, it is not rocket science that if we save water, eventually we can save humanity on this planet. So the good thing is there is a group called Water Footprint Network, and it promotes sustainable, equitable, and efficient water use through development of shared documents on water footprint accounting and create guidelines for the reduction and offsetting of impacts of water footprints. They have experts from academia, business, civil society, national and international organizations. So, in summary, I have talked about water footprint. I've given you an example to give you a broader idea that I've gone through some classifications. After that, I've talked about the assessment process and then talked about some facts followed by important topic like how our consumption and production choice have huge impact on natural resource. I showed how to calculate own water footprint at last. Own water footprint, and at last I talk about how to save water and why it is necessary. I believe from through this presentation, we have learned something about water footprint, and for that, I have utilized those informations that they are stored in this reference slide.